Hey, how's it going? I chopped my hair off. It was so rough, it was like literally giving me rashes. So I just bit the bullet and I chopped it. So today we're gonna do some makeup and I'm gonna show you how I prep my skin. I use all hypoallergenic, sensitive skin, minimal ingredients, mostly kind of products. A really big thing for me is trying to find products that don't burn. It's actually really hard to do, believe it or not. So let's get this hair back. We're just gonna jump in. So the first product I go for is the Balancing Toning Water with High Moisture from Muji. But the reason I like this toner is because I usually shy away from toners because they're usually alcohol. They're usually like full of alcohol and they burn. This one is like thicker. It's almost like a gel. I don't know if you can really see. It's not really like a water like most it's not like most toners that are like an alcohol water. It's just thicker and it doesn't burn my eczema, so that's nice. So I put it everywhere. It's super hydrating. It feels so good. Okay, so after the toner I'll go in with a moisturizer. Right now I'm using the Kula Classic Sunscreen Organic Skincare SPF 50. It doesn't smell the best, but it makes my skin really nice and glowy. And for a sunscreen, it doesn't feel as oily as most. Especially because most of my problem area is my lips. If those get burnt, which your lips get burnt really easily, it's a hot mess. So we like to put sunscreen on our lips as well. That one also does not burn. Okay, and then we'll go in with a primer. This is the Nude by Nature Perfecting Primer, and it smells amazing. It smells like basil. I tell everybody this, but it does. It really smells like basil. I love basil. So if you're kind of sitting there thinking, oh my god, she's putting so much on her face, it's because I find that the key to making my makeup stay looking not dry throughout the day, like I find if I don't do all of these steps beforehand, then my makeup just looks super dry and gross by the end of the day. Like 6 hours later, I'll be all crusty if I don't do this kind of stuff. So what I go for first is an under eye corrector. So I go in with the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Corrector in Light. This isn't the concealer, it's just the corrector. That usually does the job for me. See, like, that's just a corrector, it's not even a concealer. Look at the difference. This also kind of acts as a base for our eyeshadow, so because this product is kind of thicker and creamier, it kind of helps with that. So another product that I have recently, like super recently found, and I really like it, is the Ordinary. Now you guys are gonna see this and think, oh my gosh, Kelsey, that is so yellow. But because I have, believe it or not, a yellow undertone, we're gonna go in with a yellow foundation. See how yellow that looks? But it blends out really nicely, so we'll do that. I don't really put it around my eyes unless I'm having a super dark eye day. And this foundation's nice because I can put it on my eczema and it doesn't dry it out, it doesn't hurt. This is the High Coverage Foundation. If I'm being honest, I meant to grab the serum one because it's so light. This one works just the same. And you'll see that I avoid my worst eczema area. We'll get to that in a bit. You're probably sitting there thinking, Kelsey, that looks ridiculous with this like chunk out. But to be honest, we're gonna go back to that under eye corrector. Now the thing about this under eye corrector that I find is, and this almost isn't a good thing for a lot of people, but it is for people with really dry skin. This doesn't dry out my worst scar. It just goes over it really nicely and it kind of melts around it instead of making it look dry and gross. It's the only corrector that hasn't made my scar look worse over a long period of time. Throughout the day, your skin can just go from 0 to 100 and it can just look a flaky mess. And this one kind of makes it easy to touch up that flaky mess, if that makes sense. I don't set my whole face with powder. I just think it's a little, I used to, if you watched my old videos, I used to just cake the powder on. But that just seems like it just makes my skin look worse now. Sorry, my brushes are not clean. Judge me. Do it. I go in with a pretty dense brush. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. And I go into actually the Bare Minerals foundation. Bare Minerals Original SPF 15 foundation in Fair C10. And I don't use this all over my face. Sometimes I'll use just this, but it's rare that I can actually get away with that. So I go in and I put a pretty good amount on the bottom, and I just set under my eyes with that. So I'm gonna rub out, sorry, any creasing that might have happened since I put the corrector on. And then we just go and set underneath. This foundation has a bit of an iridescence to it. So it kind of brightens up under the eye, like look at the difference there. So I don't feel the need to use concealer when I have this Bare Minerals because it's got really good coverage and it brightens up things nicely. This is like a godsend from the Benefit Gods. So this is the Hoola bronzer in light, and it is, I used to use the Hoola bronzer, but I had to be really careful with it because like it was a great undertone. It's the best undertone I've ever used, but it's really, really dark. So they came out with the Hoola light and I really like it. So I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush into that Hoola bronzer, and I contour with it. I'm kind of over the kind of taupe gray undertone contours just because they just don't look as natural as a Hoola bronzer. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it just adds a good little cast without being obnoxious. Never bring your contour powder past where your cheekbone is. But the reason I use a big fluffy brush is because it blends it upwards instead of looking like a big chunk here. So I don't know if you can kind of see what I mean here, but it doesn't go past here. It goes up, and that way we lift and we don't emphasize anything here, and we don't get a discoloration here, which is what we want. We don't want orange all over our face because that would be strange. And I always buff it up. You can even go right onto the cheekbones if that's the easiest way for you to blend it. And I use the side of my brush, like here. I don't go like this and blend. I use the side so that we get more kind of surface. I'm really liking the way this base looks. This is the Quo blush brush. I'm going in with the blush from the Kylie Coco collection, the Kylie Cosmetics Coco collection. Honest to God, because it's the only one that I have. Look at how pink that is. So I usually swipe it on and it looks obnoxious, and then I go back in and I blend it out. A little bit of blush on your nose. So I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. highlighting brush. I'm gonna go into the Tarte To Go highlighters. Once again, this is my palette. It's dirty right now because I did some makeup, I did some clients' makeup over the weekend, but I basically made this palette. I basically took my favorite things out of all of my palettes and put them into one so that I didn't have to carry around 600 palettes. Then I'm going to go in with the Nude by Nature Brow Gel in 02 Brown. Shape all of my brows into one place. I'm trying not to touch my brows waxing wise or shaping wise lately. Fun fact, I'm getting married and I want my brows to be really, really full and then able to be sculpted for my wedding. So I'm just really growing them out because I waxed the crap out of them when I was younger. If you ever see photos of me, they were like Nike check marks. If I can find it. Sometimes I'll go in with the Annabelle Skinny Brow Liner in Universal Auburn. It's nice and thin. I'll literally just fill in the front because I'm a little bit sparse in some areas. I can usually just get away with just the New By Nature mascara. And then right here I'm a little sparse. They're bushy, I know. I'm just not touching them until my wedding. Okay, so for eyes, I just got this Tarte To Go palette in my FabFitFun box, and I used it yesterday and it went on like a dream. It was gorgeous. So I'm just gonna go in with the first shade there, that's Drive. This shade there. This is, I think if anyone should get any palette that you're just starting out in makeup, the Tarte To Go palette would be great. It's great. It has everything you could need, and then it has some more kind of foil sparkly shades for you to like experiment with, you know, kind of go outside your comfort zone. I'm gonna go in with Crisp, which is this kind of orangey brownie shade. That was really dusty. Okay, so first I'll dab it in where I want it, and then I'll blend it up. I use this kind of fluffier brush. This is the crease brush from e.l.f. I like this because it's nice and small, but it kind of just sits in the crease really nicely. Should we go one darker? Yeah, let's do it. Screw it. So we're gonna go on with styling. We're just going all out apparently. So that same brush that I've used for that entire look, I'm gonna go in with that brownie orange shade, the Crisp shade, and I'm gonna go underneath. Bringing it underneath just brings the whole look together instead of it being so top heavy all the time. If you wear eyeshadow but you don't really bring it down, try bringing it down, and I think you'll see that it just brings everything together. So I'm gonna go in and curl. This look literally went from like, we're just gonna do foundation to a whole face. I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Total Temptation mascara. It doesn't tell me my shade, so that's weird. So after mascara, I don't know if you can see, I love this. Ooh, this palette, man, this palette. I'm gonna go in with the, why am I showing you the cotton pad? Here's the cotton pad, welcome. This is the product on the cotton pad. I'm gonna go in with the Lise Watier Solution Double Dual Phase Eye Makeup Remover. It's not really anything special, I just use it to take any foundation off my lips before we go in with lipstick. I don't know what's gotten into me. I'm getting a little kooky, a little crazy. Bite matte lip crayon in Glace. It's glass. It's glass. And then we'll go in with the Pixie Lip Lift Max in Honey Sheen. This lip gloss, guys, I have never used a sample and been so wowed by it that I purchased the product. So then, I think that's it. We're gonna go in with a spray. I do not use makeup setting sprays. The reason for it is because they're pretty much hairspray for your face, and there's no way that's healthy. But they're also usually really full of salt and alcohol. Now this has natural salt in it, but I just use this because it melts the skin in, and I think that using a thermal water as a setting spray for people with dry skin is always a really, really good alternative than using a setting spray that can be usually really, really drying. And it's refreshing AF, so we did that. Huh. Whenever I try and tell people so I work in makeup retail, and whenever I try and tell people that they should use a thermal spray to set their makeup, they're like, are you really trying to sell me water right now? And I'm like, yeah. Water in a can, y'all. Water in a can. Okay, so that's it. I hope you guys liked it. I'm sorry if it was super long, super talky. I'm gonna try and cut it down as much as possible. But yeah, if you want me to go more into like skincare for sensitive skin, then definitely tell me and I'll do that. I think it could be really helpful as there isn't a lot on it on YouTube, so we could do that if you want. That was fun to film, and I'll see you later. Bye!